Hey everyone, Adam here. So I know I'm supposed to follow up and quickly demo Mint, but I just want to take the time to quickly do a review on a new Dell Linux laptop that I just recently purchased. Now, a couple things about this. Well, we're going to do it in the video. First of all, a couple disclaimers. Dell has not asked me to review. System76 has not asked me to review. I've just basically taken it upon myself to do this review and just kind of do a comparison. So the first thing we'll do is we'll talk about the hardware, and I'll show off the hardware. Then I'll show off some performance with a screencast. And then I'll talk about a lot of cons that I've had with it and some good things. And then we'll go in and I'll compare this to a System76 system, just because that's something I'm familiar with, and then we'll chat about that. So anyway, let's get started. I'm rambling on already too much. So first thing are the specs. So basically, it's the Inspiron 15 3000 series, the Ubuntu 14.04.1 operating system. Now, I was able to get this for $280. I believe right now is going for $310 for the 15-inch version. They do make a 14-inch version. I just wanted the bigger screen because that was going to meet my needs better. Not as great for traveling, but it's actually not too bad because it's fairly thin. So you can see that coming up. So let's talk about what comes in it. I have 4 gigs of RAM. I have a 500 gigabit hard drive. I think it's a 40 watt adapter for the power supply. It's pretty small. And then the processor, hold on, I need to look this up real quick. It is the where is my processor? Oh, it's the N3540. It's a Celeron series. It's a quad core. It's pretty low watt, and it has decent battery life, doesn't output a lot of heat, and it seems to work okay. It's a very budget-oriented laptop. It's $280. My expectations were pretty low. So, yeah, anyway, let's quickly look at it and see what you guys think about the hardware and kind of the design and layout of the laptop. Okay, this is the Dell Inspiron 3000 Ubuntu 14.04.1, I believe. So yeah, this is the hardware. They have, as I said, they have the two models. They have the 15-inch and the 14-inch. I went with the 15.6-inch screen size, just because when I'm typing and stuff like that, I've appreciated a bigger screen size. I know the trend is to go small, small, small with the screen size, but I've used smaller screens and it's just, I don't know, it's just not as nice. So, went with a slightly bigger one. The system itself is fairly thin. It probably weighs, I think, maybe 5 pounds, so it's definitely not as sleek as like some of the other, obviously like a MacBook Pro or a MacBook Air, but it's $280. I wasn't expecting anything fantastic as far as that stuff goes. It is made out of plastic. As far as the design goes, I like it. It's you know, I wasn't expecting much. So you can see we have a USB port. We have HDMI. We do have a card reader right there. It's hard to see. And then over here is the power adapter. I'm not crazy about the power adapter. I'd rather have it, instead of on the side, I'd rather have it in the back. But, you know, what can you do? And then on this side, we have two more USB adapters, so a total of 3. I believe one of them is USB 3.0, but don't quote me on that. I thought I read that somewhere. And then the thing I don't like is we only have one jack for the, it's okay, for the headphone / microphone. So that works nowadays, I guess, with a lot of headphones being combined, especially for phones, but I don't know. Every time I plug it in, a little prompt comes up. Is this a headset? Is this? Are these headphones? And I don't know. It's just whatever. That is what it is. So let's open this up. Okay, and then this is what it looks like opened up. The keyboard is your standard chiclet keyboard. It does have a number pad on the side, which is I really, really like. It has the arrow keys here. The arrow keys are, this is the trend on pretty much all laptops. I just don't like how they're so small because I tend to use my arrow keys a fair amount. As far as typing on it goes, it feels fine. There's really... I don't see that much flex. Again, like these aren't huge issues for me because again, it's a $280 computer. I wasn't expecting that much. And then the trackpad, this is something I do not like. I usually use a mouse with my laptops anyway, so for me it's not a huge deal. But if you're not planning on carrying around a mouse, good luck with the trackpad. It is really annoying. It's one of the single-click trackpads, you know, for your left click and then your right click, but it doesn't always respond. It does have the two-finger touch for scrolling. All in all, not happy with the trackpad, but again, I use a mouse, so as long as you go into it with that kind of expectation, then you should be fine. And then you have your FN keys that have special things where you can change the sound, and you can hit pause play. There's a search function, your brightness keys, stuff like that. If you do remember, we do not have a Ethernet ability with this. Everything is done wirelessly. There is no Ethernet adapter, so as long as you're okay with that it has to be done wirelessly, you'll be okay. Again, it's a $280 computer. If this was a more higher end computer, I really like being able to have the Cat5 cable, or at least to be able to plug it in. So for me, that's kind of, I really enjoy that. I think I've had good luck with wireless, but I've had even better luck with just plugging it in directly. I never ever get drops in wireless. Sometimes I get drops and stuff like that. So anyway, that's it. That's what it looks like. I'll turn it on and I'll show you some performance here in a second. As far as screen resolution goes, it's the 720p resolution, whatever that is. It's not the 1080p resolution. So to me, it looks fine, but if you're looking for 1080p, you're not going to get it with this computer. Again, it's a $280 computer. I wasn't expecting big things with it. So, all right, let me show you some performance. Okay, and here is the irony. I just went to quickly turn on the computer because I'm going to show you performance, do a quick screencast with this, and I get a kernel panic. Fantastic. So this is not boding well for the Dell Inspiron, which we'll get into some of the pros and cons later. I did get this before, like once, and then all I did is I restarted and it booted back up. I have no idea why I'm getting this. I've never ever gotten a kernel panic with any of my other Linux stuff. So we are just going to start it back up and hopefully it will boot right back in. But yeah, that is kind of annoying. So all right, I will get us back on to Ubuntu and do a quick screencast, so hold on. Okay, everyone, so this is on the actual Dell itself. I'm doing a quick screencast with it with Simple Screen Recorder. It does look like a Mac. I've themed this kind of heavily, but I just want to quickly show you some of the responsiveness and stuff. Again, this is using Unity. Responds pretty well. I set up my tiling. I've set up all of this stuff. If I launch Chrome here, we can see how long that takes to launch. Now I did launch it earlier, so I'm assuming some of it kind of stayed in memory. But even navigating when I type, it's very responsive for a $280 computer. So this is just showing off some of the capabilities of it. I've set up my hot corners, and my keyboard shortcuts all seem to work pretty well. And then you can see up here, this is my CPU. I do tax it, especially when I start moving stuff over and going over this way. But I'll load up CNN real quick, just a website, just to show you how quickly everything loads. Sometimes it does feel a little bit unresponsive when loading a super heavy website, but again, all in all, it feels like it works pretty well. So I have done some video editing with this. It works. It takes a while to render. It's not something that I would recommend doing all the time. So, like, for example, if you were heavy into video editing and we're gonna like try to release a video once a week, I definitely would not recommend doing this. But if you're just looking to do web, some email, and learn Linux, and maybe do some very basic video editing every once in a while, I think this is a very, very capable system. As I said, it did take, as you can imagine, a while to render out a video, but that's to be expected. Battery life, I should mention battery life. I haven't drained all of this, but usually, in theory, I should get anywhere between 4 to 5 hours, I'm guessing. Not spectacular. I know there are a lot of things that are better for battery life, but not horrible either. I definitely wouldn't get this for the battery life because there are better options out there. But anyway, yeah, the performance is pretty good. You can video edit just fine. You can, as soon as you type it, it will come up. So, oops, if I can type. So yeah, switch is pretty quick between applications. And this is on top of me running a screencast, so not too shabby. Okay, now let's talk about what I like about it and what I don't like about it. I like the fact that it was $280 for this computer. Now, my goal with this computer was simply to keep this in my office at work, which I do work in New York City, and although I trust my coworkers completely and I keep it locked up in my drawer at work because I just don't want to travel it back and forth, there have been some thefts like maybe 5 or 6 years ago in the department. Probably someone snuck in and stole some stuff. So my expectation was to not keep an expensive laptop in my office. And the reason I like the laptop in my office is I like to do Linux things. Whenever I get downtime, or like during lunch, maybe I want to fool around with trying to learn a bash script or do something kind of Linux-y oriented, which I can't do with my work computer, obviously. So that's why I like having that in my office. So that was my goal. I wanted something just cheap and something that was just going to, I didn't really have to care about if it actually did get stolen. So as you can imagine, $280, it meets that bill. Now for the downsides. So they have a recovery partition set up. And originally I was going to install Xubuntu on it, and I was just going to wipe whatever it came with from Dell. That was exceedingly challenging. In fact, I just gave up because I didn't want to have to repartition and wipe out that special their ISO image, which I'll get into a second. Essentially what would happen is I would plug in my USB stick. It looked like it was booting into Xubuntu just fine. Everything was going. And then for whatever reason, Dell's recovery mode kicked in and it would just show up blank. I could never ever launch that USB stick. I then set it into like a legacy boot mode through the BIOS. It wiped everything out. That it basically did a fresh factory reinstall, and I still couldn't boot from the USB stick. And when I talk about like not booting from the USB stick, it looked like it was booting from the USB stick. Initially, it said Xubuntu. Xubuntu came up. It was reading it just fine, but then for whatever reason, it kicked off into Dell.